welcome back to my channel. My name is Dimitrios Bogris, your Toronto-based Bouzouki specialist. I'm here in my home studio where I do all of my work from lessons to repairs, and I also offer live entertainment services. If you're interested in having me come to your home for lessons or wish to come here, maybe you don't live in the country and want to have lessons online, I can help you with all of that. Please visit my website by going to dimitriosbouzouki.com for more information. In this video, I just want to shed a little bit of light on how to practice, not necessarily what to practice. Before we get to that, I want to just describe and check on a few things regarding your Bouzouki. Let's check your action at 2 points. The first point will be at the 12th fret right here, and the second point will be at the 1st fret. I am going to be using what's called a caliper gauge. This is a digital caliper gauge. It costs about $60 and I got it from Lee Valley in Toronto. If you don't have one of these, don't worry. You can get one for a little bit cheaper, 20 bucks at your hardware store. It may not be digital. Digital is the best because it gives you very accurate readings. So I'm using an American penny. I've pinched it between the calipers and it's giving us a reading of 1.45 here, 1.44. So what that really means is it's measuring in millimeters, and in millimeters we want something about this height for our string action. So if this slips underneath the strings at the 12th fret, you know you have decent, maybe a little bit high action. If it goes in without any effort, without touching the strings at all, you know that you have a little bit high action. If it doesn't fit, you know that your action is low. And I know that mine is sitting at about 1.7 to 1.8 millimeters. It's actually quite low, but I'm not getting any buzz. There's no buzz. All the notes play clean. So the instrument itself is great, even with super low action like this. So again, this is an American penny and I used it to check the action here at the 12th fret. The next place you want to check your action is at the 1st fret. What you want to do is take a look this way, see if there is any light passing between the 1st fret and your strings. There should be almost nothing. You don't want anything here. This is the point where it should be the lightest. There should be almost no action here. So when you press here on the first 4 tasta, or the first 4 frets, even up to the 5th or 7th fret, you shouldn't see any or much light at all. If you do want to get that adjusted, I would encourage you to send me a picture and I'll be happy to take a look at it and offer you my free advice on what you could do, or maybe it does need a repair. Again, my advice is free if you want to get it repaired. So now that we've checked on those things, another thing I want to mention is string gauge. So here I've got 3 strings that I really like to use. I don't use the cream set by Prodigy. I tend to use the red set and the rose set. The main difference between these 2 sets of strings is the C string, so the last string on the Bouzouki. This set has a 0.011 thickness of string versus this one, it has a 0.014 thickness for the high string. The low string is the same thickness. Shout out to my friend Lenyo at Prodigy Strings in the UK. And no, he did not pay me to endorse his products. I just love his products and use them religiously. I don't like other strings. These are my go-to. So what that really does there on that high string, it reduces the tension on the Bouzouki just by a little bit. So it's still a heavy gauge string, but it reduces the tension enough so that it feels a little bit more comfortable, and especially for the picking, it's a little bit more comfortable for my pick hand. It's more balanced. One other thing I want to talk about is the pick. I use Mastro Mediums. This is a triangular pick, 3 sides, and I like this pick because of the thickness that it is and the fact that the shape is rounded. It just allows me to glide through the string a little bit easier. It's not long and pointed, it's more wide and pointy. So it's got that nice edge, but the tip is pointy, which allows me to glide through the strings a little bit easier. The tip is very pointy, but it gets really wide very quickly. So this shape is actually ideal for me. I use it to play live for chords, for practice. I actually don't use another pick. This is my pick that I use for everything. So now that I've checked in with you on those things, if you have any questions or want me to take a look at your Bouzouki, again, I invite you to send me an email. You can find my contact information again on my website by going to dimitriosbogris.com and sending me a picture or just asking for my advice. I'm happy to help. I'm here for your assistance. So down to the practice. We want to get faster. We want to get cleaner. We just want to play. We want to do a taksimi. We want to be solid players. And how do we do that? Well, part of it is starting in the right spots. So if you're a complete beginner to the Bouzouki, see where your hand fits naturally on the fretboard. The most comfortable position that I find people tend to gravitate towards is somewhere in the middle here before we get to the bowl and not quite in the lower region. I would recommend starting here on the 7th fret or putting your first finger on the 12th fret. See where your fingers fall on the Bouzouki naturally. So this is step 1. If you find that at the 7th fret your fingers are a little bit spread out, move up. If they're still spread out, move up a little bit more. If you find that up here your fingers are too bunched, then you might want to move back. The scale length of any typical Bouzouki is 26.5 inches. That's the distance from the nut here to the bridge. So it's very, very standardized measurement. Most Bouzouki's, in fact all, if not a small percentage of them not, but most of them are 26.5 inches. So again, that's the distance from the nut to the bridge there. So the distance of the frets going up are typical. This is pretty much what you can expect on any Bouzouki. So getting used to the distances of the frets at all of these points is going to be important. The exercise I'm going to be using for this video is the 1, 2, 3, 4 crunch exercise, and that is 1, 2, 3, 4 crunch, 1, 2, 3, 4 crunch, etc. I'm going to be starting here on the 7th fret, going up to the 12th and going back. And what you want to produce when you're doing this exercise is clean, fat notes, heavy picking, and you want to not press too far back, and you don't want to press over the fret. You want to always be aiming your fingers right behind the fret that you're playing, and you want to make sure that you're aiming every finger behind the fret. That's why you want to do slow practice. You want to do practice that is methodical. You want to practice effectively. So just doing this for 5 to 10 minutes, slow, methodical, effective practice, that's what's going to lead you to becoming a faster player. That's what's going to lead you to becoming a cleaner player. And again, you don't have to do this for 20, 30 minutes a day. It only requires a little bit of time every day, and probably the best time to do it is at the beginning of your practice. So take in a deep breath, watch what I'm going to do, and try to replicate that. You can go a little bit faster, a little bit slower, but ideally what you want to do is work at your own pace, so not using a metronome. This is what I would typically like to see out of my students. And repetitiveness. You want to do this over and over, and you want to do it as low as you can to as high as you can, and on every string. So here we go. So my practice wasn't quick, it wasn't rushed, it wasn't fast, it wasn't buzzing, it was nice and slow. Why do we want this? We want this because over time you just develop this natural sense of understanding in your fingers. You understand how much pressure is required with your right hand to create a nice fat round tone. You understand where to place your fingers naturally and how much pressure to put naturally. So that's the ideal practice. That's going to be it for today's lesson. Again, if you're interested in lessons, repair services, or live entertainment, Want to pick my brain, have questions, or anything, please send me an email to my website, dimitriosbogris.com. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.